Hi everyone, welcome to TNT. It's Wednesday, middle of the week, and well, it's the middle of the road trip as well. And as you can see, a little bit quiet here in Hua Hin. This is the main road, well, at the north end of the main road, or at least somebody going for a walk. And just walking around last night, it seems to me to be quite quiet here. But I'll be speaking to the editor of Hua Hin today, Jonathan Fairfield, and he'll give us his glimpses into how people here in Hua Hin are faring, and also talking about the publication business at this time. Plenty of news to talk about today. Let's get started. Oh, by the way, before I go, please subscribe to the channel. That really does help. So there will be a bit of road noise today. I'm right on the main road, sitting in, well, there's nobody here at the moment, but at the front of the place I'm staying. And also that interview with Jonathan Fairfield will be a separate interview, and that will be uploaded probably tomorrow on the program. He's a very interesting gentleman. All right, let's get on with the program, and we start with The Nation. And The Nation Thailand reports that the TAT expects foreign tourists in the first 4 months to surpass 4 million. And they say the country could reach at least 25 million visitors during 2023 as they targeted. And the TAT saying the recovery of the Thai tourism sector was visible in the large number of foreign tourists visiting many provinces of Thailand during Songkran. Well, I thought the news was that it was mostly domestic tourists visiting during Songkran and the number of foreigners were down. Still, there were plenty of people here, especially in those main areas, say in Pattaya and Phuket for Songkran. The second paragraph says, in view of the quicker than expected recovery trends in Thai tourism, the Governor Yuttasak Supason advised tourism-related business operators to refrain from price wars. He urged them to take advantage of the pent-up spending power. In other words, keep price gouging, I think is what he's trying to say. And he says currently the room occupancy rate average is quite high at 80%, even with the twofold increase in room rates from the rates before the pandemic. So he's saying that we're paying twice as much for rooms compared to before the pandemic, and also saying that the average occupancy rate is 80%. Well, that's just complete nonsense. I've been travelling for the past 4 or 5 days in various parts of Thailand, West and Central Thailand, and most of the hotels are saying that there's just not that many people around after Songkran. Now, according to a survey conducted by the Thai Hotels Association, they're saying 74% of hotels that have a 5-star rating have increased their room rates to above the rates prevailing before COVID-19, and 34% of 4-star hotels have increased their rates as compared before COVID-19. The TAT expects that at least 5 million Chinese tourists will be visiting Thailand this year, based on the upward trend of about 10,000 Chinese tourists a day, and the TAT estimates that 3.5 to 4 million Malaysian tourists will visit Thailand, and tourists from India and South Korea will likely exceed 1 million. It was only a couple of months ago that Indian tourists were the number one tourists visiting Thailand. I mean, they really kept things going all the way through 2022. Now, to another travel-related story, this from the Straits Times from Singapore. And the story reports that China to scrap the PCR test for inbound travellers in the latest easing. And it says the rule's been a major deterrent for travellers since the world's second largest economy emerged from COVID-19 isolation in January. And from this Saturday, travellers can instead show a negative ATK test, and airlines will not be required to check the proof. So you'll have to have an ATK test with you, a negative ATK test, but it mightn't be checked apparently. And the move to scrap it entirely comes as air travel in and out of China recovers at a sluggish pace, and the number of international flights in the first quarter was only at 12.4% of the 2019 level, according to Chinese government data. And that article finishes by saying sky-high airfares, limited capacity at airlines and a backlog in getting passports and visas approved are holding back travellers, and it will take at least a year to get back to pre-pandemic levels, according to the Director General of the Association of Asia-Pacific Airlines. So China, probably the last country to pull up its post-COVID socks, and it looks like no more PCR tests. Good morning. After this Saturday, you're watching TNT. Wednesday morning, and I know it's a little bit noisy sitting here, but there's not really anywhere else to sit. Nothing is open at this time. Let's get on with our next story, and this from Nation Thailand, and it reports that Patong Sough feels full force of summer storms sweeping Upper Thailand. Strong wind and rain also caused extensive damage to property, and Patong Sough was hit by the destructive force of summer storms sweeping across Upper Thailand on Monday. Heavy rain, strong winds and hail lashed locals in the eastern province for more than an hour, uprooting large trees and blocking roads. The storm dumped enough rainwater to cause landslides in 2 districts. However, no deaths or injuries were reported. And there's a photo there in the Nation Thailand, basically showing that very hard to take a photo when a storm's coming through. Go to our next story now, and a woman arrested on suspicion of involvement in deaths of at least 8 people, this reported by Thai PBS World. And a woman's being held in police custody on suspicion she may have been involved in the mysterious deaths of up to 8 people. That number different in other media, which we'll get to. And the suspect, identified by police as Srarat, also known as Arm, was apprehended by Crime Suppression Division police, and police said they found cyanide in her house, and an autopsy showed traces of cyanide, in the body of a person called Siriporn. The victim's daughter recently lodged a complaint with the Deputy Police Chief seeking an investigation into the death of her mother at a gas station in Ratchaburi province because she suspected that her mother's death might have been the result of foul play. And according to the Crime Suppression Division, there are 8 mysterious deaths, all connected to the suspects, and there they are listed if you'd like to check those out. And the Bangkok Post reporting that in fact she's a senior cop's wife arrested, suspected of serial murders. And in this report, the investigation suspect her of the deaths of 6 other women. And this article reports her full name and says that her husband is reported to be a deputy provincial police superintendent in Ratchaburi province. When she was arrested on Tuesday morning about 11 a.m, she had a bottle of cyanide in her possession. Well, sort of talk about being caught red-handed. Let's go on. Investigators came to the belief that she might be the person who mixed cyanide in Siriporn's food, causing her death. She allegedly also stole the victim's valuables. This led to her arrest. Thais love these stories. I'm sure the social media in Thailand will be abuzz with the latest in that story. Moving on to Khalsod English, reporting that Pattaya police said yesterday they're looking for a male Indian tourist who crashed his jet ski into another, leading to the death by drowning of a Thai rider and seriously injured an 8-year-old Thai boy. The accident took place near Walking Street. The Indian tourist fled the scene shortly after the incident. And now the same story from the PattayaNews.com. Let's see if they can shed any additional light. And it says that an 8-year-old child suffered serious injuries while the rider of his jet ski drowned in the Pattaya Sea following a collision with another jet ski. And the third paragraph, at the beach, the rescue team found an 8-year-old kid lying unresponsive with a fractured chin and jaw. The kid had been rescued by a Cambodian Good Samaritan after falling into the sea after his jet ski collided with another party. He was wearing a life jacket and survived the drowning. But a 35-year-old who also fell into the sea about 15 metres from the beach, he wasn't wearing a life jacket, and his body was discovered at the bottom of the sea. The rescue team recovered his body, pronounced him dead at the beach, and transported him to a local hospital. And the Pattaya News interviewed a Thai beachgoer about the incident, learned that the 2 victims were riding a jet ski when they collided with another jet ski, causing them both to be thrown into the water. and says the other jet ski rider involved in the incident was a foreigner reportedly of Indian nationality. He fled the beach and remained at large as of press time, and it's unclear why the jet skis were being operated well after dark without proper lighting. Now to this story reported in the PhuketExpress.com, and it says an Australian man found hanged in a Patong Police Station. And the Patong Police told Phuket Express that the 29-year-old Australian man was arrested on Sunday as he was heavily intoxicated and caused a public nuisance. He was in custody in a cell alone on the second floor of the police station while officers waited for him to sober up. And the story says that about noon on Monday, the Australian man was found hanged in his cell. He was found hanging by part of his clothing, but CCTV footage, according to this report, clearly shows he hanged himself without anyone else involved, according to Patong Police. And it's been reported that the Australian man suffered from depression and he reportedly had prior legal issues with law enforcement, having previously argued with his girlfriend before he allegedly attacked her at a hotel in Patong. Now, there's another version of that story, and it's reported in both news.com.au from Australia and the Daily Mail. And it says that the partner of Aussie man found dead in Thai jail cell reveals sinister theory. An Australian man's 5-day trip to Thailand has ended in tragedy after his lifeless body was found in a jail cell just 1 day before he was due to return home. He was a body piercer from New South Wales, Matthew Winder. He was enjoying his second last night in Phuket when he was arrested by local authorities, being drunk and disorderly. And the 31-year-old was taken to the Patong Police Station, placed in a cell. And when a policeman returned, local authorities allege the guard found the Newcastle man unresponsive, with the officer pronouncing him dead at the scene. So at some stage that CCTV footage is going to have to be inspected to make sure the police are telling the truth in this matter. Now, according to the man's girlfriend, Ms. Varoxis, foul play is in the mix and none of it makes sense, and she was quoted as saying that in the Daily Mail, he had all the intentions of coming home to his family, he was doing better than his usual, and everyone he loves will agree. It's understood Mr. Winder, who lived a full life of adventure, visited the holiday island to add to his collection of face tattoos before his life was tragically cut short. Let's hope that there is some clarity to that story. At the moment, a bit of a question mark over the conduct of the police in Patong Police Station. And we go to Coconuts now, Coconuts Bangkok, reporting that no booze for you. 2 dry Saturdays for Thai elections to leave patrons high and dry. And to ensure sober votes are cast for the best people, Thailand has designated Election Day a dry day when no booze can be sold. Well, that's the usual every election day around Thailand. But this time, they've gone a little bit further. The minders of public morality are going to step further this year and extending prohibition 7 days before the polls open to the day less than 3% of the population has registered to vote early. That means there's no alcohol sold from 6 p.m. on May the 6th until 6 p.m. on the early voting day of May 7, as well as 6 p.m. on May the 13th to 6 p.m. on May the 14th, also known as the Election Day. And they say so take solace in the fact that 2 Saturdays of inconvenience mean a few voters won't walk into their polling stations with their beer goggles on. And yes, that election here in Thailand, which is increasingly looking a bit like a one-horse race, will be held on May the 14th. You're watching TNT. Let's see what the government's been spending some of their money on over the past 8 years. And we go to nationthailand.com. Thai Navy's new acquisition, the HTMS Chang, docks at the Sattahip base, and the frigate will serve as a submarine support vessel and departed Shanghai on April the 18th. It was escorted by the Royal Thai Navy ship, the HTMS Naritawat, on the journey from China, and its arrival was marked with a special ceremony at 3 p.m. yesterday. And there they are, welcoming the new ship to Thailand. And the HTMS Chang is the latest model of a Type 071 landing platform dock and was built by China Shipbuilding Trading, cost 6.1 million baht. and it's going to be used to support a Chinese Yuan-class submarine, the delivery of which has been delayed due to a dispute over its engines. Well, maybe they can tie a rope to it and tow it. And it says the frigate's 213 metres long, 28 metres wide, top speed of 25 knots and a range of 10,000 nautical miles. And then down the bottom it says it can tolerate choppy seas. I'm not sure if that's a reference to the Navy ship that sank earlier this year in the Gulf of Thailand, when it obviously couldn't tolerate choppy seas. And the frigate was bought as part of the Navy's 20-year strategy to procure 4 landing platform docks to be used in amphibious warfare, marine rescue and disaster relief. And whilst we're reporting about navies, this story from the PattayaNews.com: Nimitz carrier strike group to visit Thailand from April 24 to 29, so they're here now. And this is a media release saying that the US Navy port visits are an opportunity to strengthen the US-Thai security partnership and advance people-to-people ties. Maybe they could show them around their brand new ship out of China. And it's celebrating the 190th anniversary of US-Thai diplomatic relations. And the Nimitz carrier strike group departed Washington for a routine deployment in November last year. Since then, the Nimitz carrier strike group has participated in several joint and integrated training operations and conducted multiple port visits with partners and allies across the region. And here endeth the news today from our rather noisy position here right on the main road in Hua Hin. And as you can hear, the traffic's starting to build up. And we thank, of course, 5 Star Marine. I would like to acknowledge our sponsors, 5 Star Marine, who have been with the program since day one. They've got a whole fleet of these beautiful little boats. If you'd like a private premium tour off the island of Phuket, then I can recommend 5 Star Marine. And next time you're coming to the island, check them out. There's a link in the description of this video. So you can literally walk down the main road of Hua Hin at this time of the day, very quiet, but I'm sure the town will be picking up soon. As far as the weather's concerned, a lot of that really strong heat has gone in recent days, so let's hope that continues. We'll be into that blue Mercedes a little bit later and heading down to Chumpon next. Hope you're enjoying our road trip. We are. We'll see you soon.